Thursday, March 5th, receive your miracle and unexpected good news morning prayer. Good morning. There are mornings that feel ordinary, and then there are mornings that carry something hidden within them, something waiting, something destined. This morning may look like every other morning, the same sky, the same routine, the same worries trying to whisper into your mind, but today there is another voice speaking. There is something sacred about the morning. Before the noise of the world begins, before the rush of responsibilities and the weight of yesterday's worries try to follow you into a new day, there is a quiet moment, a moment where the sky slowly changes color and the world seems to breathe again. In that moment, something powerful is happening, even if we don't notice it. Every morning is more than just the start of another routine. It is a gift, a chance to begin again, a chance to step into possibilities that did not exist yesterday. Yet many people wake up carrying the same heavy thoughts they went to sleep with. The mind quickly reminds them of problems, fears, disappointments, and unanswered prayers. The heart whispers, nothing will change, but the morning itself tells a different story. The morning speaks of renewal. No matter how dark the night was, the sun still rises. No matter how long the storm lasted, the light still returns. The sky does not ask permission to become bright again. It simply does. And in the same way, your life holds possibilities that you cannot yet see. Some mornings carry hidden blessings, blessings that are already moving toward you while you are still wondering if anything good can happen. A conversation that will lift your spirit, a door that suddenly opens, news you were not expecting but deeply needed, a solution that appears when you thought there was no answer. Life has a mysterious way of surprising us. There are moments when everything seems silent and unchanged, and then suddenly something shifts, a breakthrough arrives, a burden lifts, a new opportunity appears where there was once a closed path. Often, we spend so much time expecting disappointment that we forget to expect miracles. But the truth is, every new morning carries unseen potential. Think about it. When you woke up today, you stepped into hours that have never existed before. No one has lived them yet. No one knows exactly what they will bring. That means possibility is alive in this day. Hope is alive in this day. The chance for something beautiful is alive in this day. Sometimes people feel like their story is stuck, like nothing new can happen for them anymore. But that feeling is not reality. It is only a shadow created by past pain. The past may speak loudly, but it does not control what the future can bring. The morning reminds us that life moves forward. Each sunrise is like a quiet promise whispering to the soul, your story is not over. There are still chapters waiting to be written. There are still moments waiting to surprise you. There are still blessings you have not yet received. When you begin to see the morning this way, something changes inside you. You no longer wake up expecting the same struggles to repeat themselves. Instead, a quiet anticipation begins to grow in your heart, a gentle hope that today might hold something different. Maybe today will bring strength you did not have yesterday. Maybe today will bring peace to a restless mind. Maybe today will bring the good news you have been waiting for. You may not see it yet, and you may not know how it will come, but the possibility is there. And sometimes all it takes to step into that miracle is to open your heart and believe that this morning is not ordinary. It may be the beginning of something wonderful. Sunrise, there is a quiet battle that takes place inside every human heart, and most of the time no one else can see it. It happens in the mind. It happens in the thoughts we repeat to ourselves when the world becomes silent. This battle is often more powerful than any challenge we face outside, because the mind can either lift us toward hope or pull us deep into discouragement. Negative feelings rarely arrive loudly. They slip in quietly. Sometimes they come through a memory of failure, sometimes through a painful experience that left a mark on the heart, sometimes through fear of the future. And before we realize it, these thoughts begin building a wall inside our minds. A voice begins whispering things like, "Nothing will change. You have tried before, and it didn't work. Good things happen to other people, not to you." These whispers can feel convincing because they are often built from past pain. When a person has faced disappointment again and again, the mind begins to expect it. The heart tries to protect itself by lowering its expectations. It becomes easier to believe in failure than to believe in hope. But this is where the struggle truly begins. Because negative thoughts do not simply reflect reality, they shape how we see it. When the mind is filled with fear and doubt, even the smallest problem feels overwhelming. A closed door begins to look like the end of the road. A delay begins to feel like a permanent defeat. The truth is that many miracles never reach the heart because the mind has already decided they are impossible. It is like standing in a dark room with the curtains tightly closed. Outside, the sun may be shining brightly, but inside everything still feels like night. The light is there, but the mind has blocked it from entering. This is why the battle of the mind matters so much. If a person wakes up every day expecting disappointment, the spirit slowly grows tired. Hope begins to fade. Even when opportunities appear, the heart may hesitate to receive them because it has grown used to expecting the worst. Negative feelings can also make a person feel alone. They convince the mind that no one understands the struggle, that the weight will never lift, that the future holds nothing new. But these thoughts are not the truth. They are shadows created by fear and exhaustion. Inside every person, there is still a place where hope lives. It may feel small, it may feel fragile, but it is still there. The moment we begin to recognize negative thoughts for what they are, voices of doubt rather than voices of truth, we begin to regain our strength. We realize that just because a thought enters our mind does not mean we must accept it. Thoughts come and go like passing clouds. They do not control the sky unless we allow them to stay. When a person starts challenging those negative whispers, something powerful happens. Instead of surrendering to fear, the heart begins to ask a different question. What if things could change? That small question opens a door. Because life has proven again and again that change can come suddenly, situations that seemed impossible have turned around. People who felt completely lost have discovered new paths. Good news has arrived in moments when it was least expected. But the mind must be willing to allow the possibility. The greatest breakthroughs often begin not with a dramatic event, but with a quiet decision inside the heart to stop letting fear control the story. When that decision is made, the darkness in the mind begins to lose its power, and slowly, hope begins to breathe again. There comes a moment in the quiet of the morning when the heart realizes it cannot carry everything alone. The worries, the unanswered questions, the silent fears about the future, they begin to feel heavier than the soul was ever meant to bear. Many people try to push through life by holding everything inside, pretending they are strong enough to manage every burden. But deep down, the heart grows tired. This is why the early moments of the morning are so powerful. Before the world begins asking things from you, before the phone starts ringing, before responsibilities start pulling you in every direction, there is a sacred window of time where you can simply be still. In that stillness, you begin to realize that surrender is not weakness. It is one of the strongest things a human being can do. Surrender means admitting that some things are beyond your control. It means releasing the need to solve every problem immediately. It means letting go of the heavy belief that everything depends on your own strength. So many negative feelings grow from the pressure of trying to control what we cannot control. We replay situations in our minds again and again, wondering what we could have done differently, worrying about outcomes we cannot see yet. The mind keeps spinning in circles, and the heart becomes restless. But when a person pauses and turns those thoughts into prayer, something begins to change. Prayer is not just speaking words, it is the act of opening the deepest parts of your heart. It is where honesty replaces pretense. It is where you can admit your fears, your doubts, your confusion, and even your exhaustion without hiding anything. In that moment, the burden begins to shift. The worries that once felt overwhelming start to loosen their grip. The fears that seemed so loud become quieter, not because every problem suddenly disappears, but because the heart is no longer carrying those problems alone. There is something deeply healing about releasing what weighs you down. When you surrender your fears in prayer, you are making room for peace to enter. When you release your doubts, you create space for hope. When you let go of the belief that everything must happen according to your timeline, you begin to trust that something greater may already be unfolding in ways you cannot see yet. Many people believe they must wait until their lives are perfect before they can feel peace. But peace does not come from perfect circumstances. It comes from learning to place your struggles somewhere safe, somewhere beyond your own limited strength. The morning becomes the place where that exchange happens. You bring your worries, you bring your pain. You bring the questions that have kept you awake at night. And in that quiet moment of surrender, something beautiful happens. The heart begins to breathe again. Instead of starting the day overwhelmed by yesterday's problems, you begin the day lighter. Instead of facing the future with fear, you begin to walk forward with quiet trust. Sometimes the biggest breakthrough in life is not the sudden arrival of a miracle, but the moment when the heart finally releases its grip on fear and chooses to trust. Because when the soul stops fighting every battle alone, it becomes open to something greater. Guidance becomes clearer. Strength appears where there was weakness, and the path forward begins to reveal itself one step at a time. All of it begins in that quiet morning moment when a tired heart finally whispers, "I release this, and I trust that something better is possible." One of the hardest things for the human heart to do is believe in something it cannot yet see. We are used to trusting what is visible, what is proven, what already stands in front of us. When the evidence is clear, belief comes easily, but when life feels uncertain, when prayers seem unanswered, when the future looks unclear, faith begins to feel like a fragile thing. Yet some of the most powerful moments in life begin long before there is any visible sign that change is coming. There are seasons when everything around you appears the same struggles, the same unanswered questions, the same quiet waiting. Days pass and nothing seems different. In those moments, the mind often starts to doubt. It whispers, if nothing has changed yet, maybe nothing ever will. But faith does not wait for evidence. Faith begins when the heart chooses to believe that something good is still possible. even when there are no signs yet. It is the quiet courage to hope while the outcome is still hidden. It is the strength to expect light while standing in a moment that still feels dark. Many miracles begin in places where people had every reason to give up. Situations that seemed completely impossible have suddenly turned around. Doors that appeared permanently closed have opened in unexpected ways. Good news has arrived in the lives of people who had almost stopped believing it could happen. But those moments often came after a season of waiting. Waiting tests the heart. It asks a difficult question. Will you still believe in hope when you cannot see proof yet? Or will you allow doubt to convince you that nothing good is on the way? The truth is, life is full of things that exist long before they become visible. A seed buried in the soil looks like nothing at first. To someone looking at the ground, there is no sign that anything is happening. But beneath the surface, something powerful is taking place. Roots are forming, life is beginning, growth is preparing to break through the earth. In the same way, many blessings begin quietly beneath the surface of our lives. You may not see them yet. You may not understand how they could possibly arrive. But that does not mean they are not already on their way. Faith is what keeps the heart open during that unseen process. It allows you to wake up in the morning and say, "Today might be the day something changes." It allows you to keep moving forward instead of becoming trapped in discouragement. It gives you the strength to keep hoping even when yesterday did not bring the answer you were looking for. Believing before the evidence appears is not foolish. It is powerful, because when the heart believes something good can happen, it creates a different kind of energy within the soul. Fear begins to loosen its grip. Hope begins to grow again. The future no longer looks like a closed road, but like a path that still holds possibilities. Unexpected good news rarely sends a warning before it arrives. It comes suddenly, quietly, sometimes on an ordinary day that looked no different from the day before. That is why faith matters so much in the waiting. When the moment finally comes, when the breakthrough appears, when the news you have been hoping for finally reaches you, you realize something important. The miracle did not begin at that moment. It began much earlier, in the quiet decision to keep believing even when you could not yet see the proof. There are moments in life when the darkness does not come from the outside world, but from within. A person can be surrounded by people, opportunities, and even moments of beauty, yet still feel a heaviness inside the heart. Negative thoughts begin to repeat themselves like echoes in an empty room. They remind you of mistakes, lost chances, painful memories, and fears about the future. When those thoughts stay long enough, they begin to shape how you see everything. A small problem starts to look like a disaster. A delay feels like rejection. Silence feels like abandonment. The mind slowly paints the world in darker and darker colors. But something important must be remembered. Darkness is not a permanent condition. It is simply the absence of light. And light can return. The transformation from darkness to expectation begins with a small but powerful decision. It begins when a person realizes that not every thought deserves to stay in the mind. Some thoughts must be challenged. Some must be replaced. Some must be released. The human mind has an incredible ability to shift direction when the heart chooses hope. At first, the change may feel small. When negativity says, "Nothing will ever improve," the heart gently answers, "Maybe something good is still possible." When fear whispers, "You will face the same disappointment again," hope replies, "This time could be different." These quiet responses may seem simple, but they begin to break the hold that negativity has on the mind. Gratitude is one of the most powerful lights that can enter a dark place in the heart. When a person pauses and begins to notice even the smallest blessings, a new morning, a breath of fresh air, a kind word, a moment of peace, the perspective slowly begins to change. The mind that once focused only on what was missing starts noticing what is still present. Gratitude softens the heart. It reminds us that life has not been only pain. Even if pain has been loud recently, there have been moments of kindness, moments of strength, moments of survival that carried us further than we thought we could go. When gratitude grows, hope begins to grow with it, and hope is powerful. Hope lifts the eyes of the soul. It helps a person look beyond the present moment and imagine that something better may still be waiting ahead. It reminds us that life has a way of turning unexpected corners. There have been people who believed their situation would never change, yet one conversation changed everything. There have been people who thought their dream was gone forever, yet an opportunity appeared when they least expected it. There have been people who woke up in despair and went to sleep with good news they never saw coming. Life can shift faster than we imagine, but the heart must remain open to that possibility. When a person replaces negativity with gratitude and trust, something inside begins to transform. The heavy fog of discouragement slowly lifts. The mind becomes calmer. The future begins to look less threatening and more mysterious in the best way. Instead of expecting the worst, the heart begins to whisper something different. Maybe something beautiful is on its way. That quiet expectation changes how a person walks through the day. Their spirit becomes lighter. Their eyes begin to notice opportunities that fear once hid from them. Their soul becomes ready to receive the good that life may bring. And sometimes the moment that hope returns is the very moment when the first rays of a miracle begin to appear on the horizon. There is a moment in life that many people do not realize is coming, a moment when the waiting, the praying, the hoping, and even the silent tears begin to lead somewhere. For a long time it may feel like nothing is changing. Days pass, weeks pass, sometimes even years pass, and the heart begins to wonder if the breakthrough will ever arrive. But life has a mysterious way of moving quietly behind the scenes. Many blessings do not announce themselves while they are on their way. They travel silently through circumstances we do not yet understand. While we are worrying, something may already be shifting. While we are questioning whether anything good can happen, the answer may already be getting closer with each passing moment. Receiving a miracle often begins before the miracle itself appears. It begins in the preparation of the heart. A heart that is constantly filled with fear and doubt struggles to recognize blessings when they arrive. When the mind is trapped in negativity, even good news can be met with hesitation. But when a person begins to nurture hope again, something changes inside them. Their spirit becomes open, their eyes become more aware, their heart becomes ready. Preparation is not about forcing a miracle to happen. It is about making space within your life for it to be received. Sometimes that means letting go of old pain that has been held too tightly. Sometimes it means releasing bitterness from past disappointments. Sometimes it means forgiving situations that never turned out the way we expected. These things can weigh heavily on the soul, and when they remain, they leave little room for new joy to enter. When the heart releases those burdens, it becomes lighter, and a lighter heart recognizes beauty more easily. It begins to notice small changes that once went unseen. A new opportunity appears. A kind word reaches the soul at just the right moment. A door opens where there once was only silence. At first, these moments may seem small, but often they are the first signs that something greater is unfolding. Unexpected good news rarely arrives according to our schedule. It often comes at surprising times, on ordinary days that look no different from the ones before them. A simple message, a phone call, a conversation that changes direction, a chance encounter that leads somewhere new. These moments can feel almost unbelievable when they happen. After so much waiting, the heart sometimes struggles to accept that the answer has finally arrived. But this is the beauty of life's surprises. Just when a person begins to think their story will never change, a new chapter quietly begins. The same life that once felt heavy suddenly feels full of possibility again. The same path that once seemed blocked reveals a new direction forward. Receiving the miracle is not only about the event itself, it is about the realization that hope was never wasted. Every moment of faith, every whispered prayer, every decision to keep believing when it was easier to give up, all of it mattered. Those moments shaped the heart into someone ready to receive what was coming, and when the good news finally arrives, it carries more than relief. It carries gratitude, it carries joy, it carries the deep understanding that sometimes the greatest blessings come when we least expect them, but exactly when we need them the most. That is why every new day holds meaning, because somewhere within the unfolding hours of life, the moment you have been waiting for may already be on its way toward you.